first clue arrived without warning. He was hunched over his desk at precisely 3:33 a.m. The dim glow of 3 monitors illuminating empty soda cans, scattered notebooks, and a dusty radio receiver tuned to silent frequencies. The clock on the wall ticked down as he clicked play on the file he downloaded hours earlier, untitled _final3.move. The screen flickered, then resolved into the grainy static of a bedroom shot, the kind he'd seen countless times in his work for internet autopsies. He leaned closer. The curtains were drawn tight. The only light seeped from a single screen in the corner, casting long shadows across a tattered rug. For 5 minutes, nothing happened. Ryan's eyes grew heavy as he scanned every corner of the room. No movement, no sound beyond the faint whine of his own speakers. Then, in the final seconds, the camera swayed just enough to capture it. A pale shape in the darkness, a silhouette at the edge of vision. He paused the footage. She was there, not his girlfriend, not anyone he recognized, just a figure, still, emotionless, pale skin reflecting ghostly light, eyes fixed beyond the frame. "Who are you?" he whispered. Silence. Then his inbox chimed. A comment appeared beneath his live stream breakdown. "You invited me." It wasn't from any known account, just a blank handle with no profile picture, time-stamped exactly at 3:33. His skin crawled. He rewound, frame by frame. He advanced until he found her again, this time closer, her expression clearer, lip corners turned down, sorrow in her eyes. Ryan's cursor hovered. He clicked the comment. No reply. Beads of sweat cooled on his forehead as he realized the comment had disappeared, replaced by a new message. "You answered." His own words, posted without his consent. He shot back with a reply of his own. "What do you want?" Almost instantly, attention. The modem's light blinked off. The speakers crackled to silence. He sat in the dark, heart pounding. His attic lab, usually his sanctuary of circuits and signals, felt suddenly like a cage. He reached for his radio, switched it from broadcast bands to his vintage ham frequencies. Static hissed, then resolved into a whisper. "Find me." The words scratched across his mind, looping, growing in urgency. Ryan's breath came shallow. He grabbed his notebook and scribbled, 3:33, untitled _final3.mov, find me. Lines curved into each other as he mapped connections, missing videos, abandoned channels, every case he'd ever closed. None had answered. He bolted upright. Storming through his cluttered apartment, he yanked power cords from every device. Monitors and lights flickered out, plunging him into near-pitch darkness. Only moonlight crept through the blinds. He lay on the floor, chest heaving, listening. The world was silent. Minutes passed. Then, echoing softly from his old radio speaker, the whisper returned. "Help me." This time unmistakable, a child's voice, urgent and pleading. Ryan rose, adrenaline replacing dread. He powered his transceiver back on, tuning methodically across bands. Static roared, then a clear signal, a heartbeat pulsing at 72 beats per minute, interlaced with muffled sobs. He recorded it, slid the tape into his recorder, fingers trembling. He stared at the mute red light, realizing he'd crossed a boundary. He was no longer Ryan's eyes finally cracked open. He expected his cramped attic, the riot of cables and empty coffee mugs, but instead he found himself staring up at a sterile ceiling grid. Fluorescent panels flickered overhead, casting harsh rectangles of light that buzzed like angry insects. He lay in a hospital bed, tangled in stiff white sheets that smelled of antiseptic and old sweat. His throat was raw, and each breath felt forced. A nurse hovered nearby, clipboard in hand, her uniform too bright, her smile too rehearsed. "You're awake," she said, voice smooth as ceramic. "You've been out for 3 days. Traumatic hypothermia," they said. "You're lucky to be alive." Ryan's mind recoiled. He sat up abruptly, wincing at the prick of IV lines in his arm. "Traumatic what?" he rasped. The nurse stepped back, startled, but the beeping of monitors cut through any further explanation. On a cart beside the bed, a screen scrolled lines of data, heart rate, respiration, and beneath them, a small waveform labeled Channel 7777 That. The bar pulsed at an impossible rhythm, exactly 3:33. His pulse matched it. He leapt from the bed, yanking tubes free. Alarms screamed. He bolted into the corridor, nurses shouting into phones, doctors arriving in blue scrubs. The floor tiles shimmered beneath his sneakers, each step warping as though he trod on loose floorboards of reality. He turned corner after corner, wing A, wing B, wing C, letters glowing on walls that bent into infinity. Every turn led back to the same locked door, painted white, labeled 404 not found. He reached out and banged on it. The door swung open as if expecting him, revealing only darkness. He stumbled inside. Darkness swallowed him whole. He plunged forward and landed with a thud on cold concrete. A single spotlight flickered on, illuminating a circle of static-spewing speakers. From them came a child's laughter, bright, chilling. He covered his ears, but the hall of speakers tightened their circuit, drowning him in echoes. The floor beneath splintered into shards of light, each fragment reflecting a different scene: his apartment, the pale face in the bedroom, the looping hallways from his nightmares. He raised his hand. His own reflection stared back at him from the shards, mouthing words he couldn't hear. He fell backward into a rain-streaked street, dawn's first gray light sweeping across wet asphalt. Cars passed silently, pedestrians drifted like holograms, heads down. He lifted his phone, dozens of notifications, all DMs from the blank handle. The latest read, "You left part of me behind." An attachment icon blinked, untitled _final5.move. No preview, no context. His thumb hovered over the file. He remembered the mic in his lab, the tape reels lined up with names: Hayes, Collins, Carver. Recordings of their final whispers. They'd all vanished at 3:33. He realized the hospital was just another loop node, a relay point in a network of haunted media. A pounding in his skull drove him back into motion. He bolted across the street, down an alley, into a subway station still half dark. The static in his ears warped into announcements: last train to nowhere. The turnstiles spun him into an empty carriage. As it departed, the station signs flipped letters, PARTTWO, looping back to FI5E. He fled through tunnels until the train emptied him at a dead end. There, scrawled on the concrete wall in red paint, read, "Loop Protocol, Phase 2 Initiate." His breath caught. He scrawled in his notebook, "Hospital and then corridor 404 subway loop Phase 2 greater than 3:33 equal to pulse." The lines between his research and his reality blurred. A distant screech of brakes echoed. The tunnel lights flickered. From the darkness emerged a figure, pale, unmoving, the same child's face from the video. Her eyes flickered with static as she stepped forward. He bolted, turning every corner until he stumbled into daylight, back onto the rain-drenched street. The file stuck in his memory like a broken track, untitled _final5.mov. He woke in his apartment at dawn, soaked in sweat. His transceiver sat on the desk, tuned to silent frequencies. The file lay open on his desktop once more. He knew what he had to do. Ryan's apartment was silent, too silent, when he stepped inside. The morning light slanted through the blinds, casting striped shadows across the floor. He hesitated at the threshold. Every familiar object looked wrong. The coffee mug from last night sat untouched, the radio silent, the monitors dark. On the desk lay his notebook, open to the last entry, untitled_final5.mov. He pressed play. The screen flickered to life with static, then faded into a corridor he recognized. Peeling wallpaper, humming fluorescence, a row of numbered doors stretching into darkness. It was the 404 corridor. His heart pounded as he watched himself stride forward, determination etched on his face. He touched the screen. His fingertip met cold glass and smeared the static. The hallway looped behind him, folding into itself, doors warping like memory fragments. He saw the pale face in the shadows wavering. A whisper, "You can't hide." He jerked back, breath catching. The video jumped to another scene. His childhood home, attic stairs rising to nothing. Dust motes drifted, and the flicker of a screen at the top. He turned. There, in his real attic, the old television stood on a crate, glowing. The same corridor played on loop. He climbed the steps, each creak echoing like a warning. The TV pulsed at 3:33. He reached out but recoiled when the screen cracked, lines of code streaming like tears. Through the fracture, he saw his own reflection, older, hollow-eyed, trapped. The whisper returned, amplified, finished the upload. He ran down into the basement where his archive, servers hummed. Each drive blinked red. He yanked cables, but the lights flickered and the screens booted back up, displaying only one file, untitled_final6.mov. His blood ran cold. He loaded it. The video showed a live feed, him in the basement, crouching over the drives. Behind him, another figure emerged, the pale one closer, its eyes hollow wells of static. He spun but found the basement empty. The monitors glitched and the feed reversed. His face appeared on every screen, screaming silently, surrounded by static. Lines of text scrolled, upload or be consumed. He stumbled out, back into the apartment. The mirrors on the walls rippled. In each reflection, he saw the pale figure instead of himself. He covered them with sheets, but the shapes pulsed beneath, as if breathing. He raced to the radio, tuning frantically. Frequencies clashed, merging into a cacophony of voices, his own, hers, dozens more pleading. He slammed the radio off. Silence. Then the whisper, "Where is my comment?" He realized he had never replied to the prompt. Deleting the file wouldn't save him. He had to upload, the final upload. He sat at his desk shaking as he opened the YouTube studio. The upload button glowed. He dragged the file. Progress bar crept forward. His finger hovered over publish. A notification popped up. Comment from null reply. Name your final reply. His vision blurred. He typed with trembling hands, "I'm sorry." And then he hit publish. The monitors all powered on. The hallway reappeared. The pale figure stepped forward, nodding. The timestamp blinked, 3:33. The air in the old mill was thick with rust and rot, the scent of wet wood mingling with oil. Ryan stood on the creaking catwalk above the turbine chamber, staring at the vast gears below. His flashlight beam trembled, casting dancing shadows that seemed almost alive. In his pocket, his phone buzzed with a single notification, null reply, phase 3 unlocked. He swallowed hard. He descended into the heart of the mill, boots echoing on steel grating. Each step felt measured, like a countdown. The walls closed in, emblazoned with peeling paint and cryptic symbols he hadn't noticed before. Triangles intersecting circles, numbers looping, 3, 3, 3777111. At the center stood an ancient radio transmitter, its coils coiled like a sleeping serpent. Ryan approached, heart pounding. The dials spun on their own, tuning to a frequency that crackled with static. He recognized it, the exact waveform from the hospital spectrogram, the pounding pulse of 333 hammered into his skull. He pressed record on his handheld, voice rattling. "This is Ryan. Phase 3. Live at the mill. I don't know what happens next." He hit a switch, igniting the transmitter. The static swelled, filling the chamber like a living thing. From the hiss emerged voices, his own, layered in chorus, and hers, soft but insistent. "Join me." The gears below began to turn, creaking and groaning. Lights flickered overhead. A blast door hissed shut behind him. He spun, panic rising, but the only exit was through the transmitter's glow. He touched the main dial. The voices sharpened, decades of whispers, lost souls trapped in magnetic tape, Collins, Hayes, Carver, names he'd recorded on dusty reels. Each plea stabbed at his conscience. "Don't leave me. Finish the loop. Bring her home." His finger trembled as he tuned down the power. The voices faded into a single thread. The pale figure's voice, urgent, "Complete the upload." He keyed his phone, live broadcast to his channel. Comments streamed in. "We see you. Don't let go. Upload now." Their words blurred with static, a hive mind urging him on. Lightning cracked outside. The mill's windows exploded inward, wind tearing at his clothes. In the gust, the pale figure drifted through the shards, closer now, features sharp and awful. Ryan stumbled backward, phone in hand, but the screen displayed only his terrified reflection. He pressed the upload button. The progress bar crept agonizingly. As it reached 99%, the transmitter overloaded, arc sparks flying. His phone screen fused into static, every pixel burning white. Then silence. When he blinked, he was outside the mill ruins, dawn breaking across a misty field. His phone lay at his feet, screen shattered. He picked it up. No signal, no file. But in the distance, the mill's tower loomed. Intact, he watched it pulse once, twice, then fade into the morning haze. Ryan's vision swam as he stood on cracked pavement beyond the mill. Dawn's light fractured through rolling fog, silhouettes of broken machinery casting long, skeletal shadows. His phone lay dead at his feet, the shattered screen reflecting shards of sky. In the distance, the mill's tower loomed, its pulse gone, but a new echo had taken its place. He felt the pull first in his chest, a low vibration, as though his heartbeat synchronized with an unseen rhythm. He looked down at his notebook, blank pages where he'd scrawled loops and timestamps. Now words bled onto the paper in smudged ink. Complete the loop or become part of it. His breath caught. He hadn't written those. He reset his recorder's tape and pressed record. His voice emerged ragged. "This is Ryan. I don't know how to stop." Static hissed, then clarity, one final upload. Behind him, headlights pierced the fog. A black sedan idled. Its door clicked open without a driver. A figure stepped out, pale, slender, face obscured by static glitch. The air around them shattered like a broken screen. They advanced, each step warping the ground into digital fragments. Ryan backed away, raising the recorder. "Who are you?" The figure paused, head tilting. The glitch rippled, revealing his own face. Hollow eyes, mouth frozen in a silent plea. The realization slammed into him. He had become the echo. He lunged past them toward the sedan. The driver's seat held his laptop exactly as he'd left it. He opened the lid and found the YouTube studio page. Last video. Untitled _final7.mov. Private. He changed it to public. Hits 0. He clicked publish. The screen blinked to life with static. Comments poured in by the thousands, each word forming in real time. "We see you. Join us. Finish now. The viewer count spiked, 3,333, then paused, locked. The figure touched his shoulder. The recorder jammed. A whisper, "You've uploaded yourself." The world around them began to pixelate, eroding into horizontal lines. The fog dissolved into code. Ryan's world shrank to the size of a screen. He pressed his palm to the laptop screen. The glass rippled, and he was pulled through, tumbling into darkness. He landed on a wooden bench in a corridor identical to the one from every nightmare. Fluorescents hummed above, doors stretched into infinity. A comment appeared at his feet, written in static, "Welcome to the dead comment section." He looked up. From every doorway, faces emerged, pale, silent. Each carried a recorder, a laptop, a smartphone. They were watchers turned watched, echoes turned broadcasters, and at the end of the hall, the pale figure, himself, smiled. He whispered, voice distant, "The loop never ends. The end. Or perhaps the beginning of another loop."